Let's have a little look at Luminar Neo. Everybody else has. What's up, everybody? Johnny here with another little video. I wanted to check out Luminar Neo, or show you guys kind of the latest update of the preview software. Now, again, this is a preview software. Those of us that pre-ordered, I have Luminar Ai. Of course, this is software by Skylum. There's a lot of artificial intelligence built into this program. Luminar AI is a really cool program. You can do a lot of really cool things with it. It's not something I don't think the professional would use on a regular basis. Like maybe if you wanted to add something to it that you can't do in Lightroom, which is really there's not a whole lot you can't do in Lightroom anymore. They've imported a lot of things from Photoshop into Lightroom now, where you don't have to do separately, edit something separately in Photoshop and then bring it back to Lightroom. They brought a lot of those features over to Lightroom. So the way Luminar AI is, there's just a lot of different things you can do. Sky replacement, super easy. There's just a lot of stuff you can do. If you're not familiar with the software, maybe look up some videos, or maybe I'll do a video on it myself at some point in time. But Luminar Neo is the new version, and it should be the official version should be dropping here in the next month or so. We're we're in February now, so here soon, we should be seeing it. Some of us got we had early access to it. It's better than Luminar AI in a lot of ways. They've added some features like power line removal, a couple other things that are kind of cool. They're in for the most part, from what I've seen so far, I don't have any photos really. I don't think I could probably dig and find photos with power lines. I could show you that, but I've seen other guys do it on YouTube, and it seems to work pretty well. But I've used the erase tool on a few occasions, and it, for the most part, it works pretty well. But sometimes it does leave artifacts. It doesn't work perfectly. If there's not a lot of contrast between the two subjects, the one thing you're trying to remove from the picture, a lot of times it just leaves weird artifacts and stuff. And sometimes you're better off just cropping it out. But there are still quite a few things you can add. You can add sun rays and dramatic effects and stuff like that. But there's one issue that I've been having though with Neo, and I contacted Skylum on Twitter to ask them, because I figure maybe because this is a preview software, that maybe this is just something that wasn't allowed. Like you weren't allowed to export photos yet, but apparently that's not the case. But the problem I've been having is every once in a while, not every single time, but every once in a while, I'll export a photo after editing in Neo, and none of the edits go through. It just exports the same photo that I edited. So I don't know what the issue is. They said, well, contact customer support. So I go to customer support. Their site is cumbersome at best. It's a whole list of facts, FAQs. Then at the very bottom, there's a weird, cumbersome way to contact them. That what Skylum should have done is, in the Neo software, they should have put a little button, in the preview software, just put a little button that says feedback. Simple as that. That's how Apple does it. I'm in the Apple beta, iOS beta program. I have been for years, and they have a separate app just for feedback. If you have any kind of bug, or you find a bug or something like that, you just fill it out. Boom, boom, boom. It goes straight to Apple, or goes straight to developers, and problem solved. But with Neo, it's cumbersome. It can be done, and it's not that it's hard. It's just cumbersome. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. And then you got to figure out how to do it. The average user probably isn't even going to be able to figure out how to give that feedback. But anyway, I'm going to jump into Neo. I do have some photos. I went to a soccer game last weekend. It was actually kind of nice. Right now it's dreary here in the Texas Panhandle. But last weekend was really, really nice, in the 60s, almost 70 degrees. They had a high school soccer game was going on. I got invited by some parents. They wanted me to take some photos, so I figured I'd go out there. They don't get a lot of I guess they don't get a lot of coverage. The school doesn't really provide photographers for especially girls sports, which is ridiculous. I guess I guess we're kind of in that age. You know, we're still in that age in some areas where girl sports doesn't get covered as much as boys sports, and I think that's wrong. I think it's ridiculous. These girls are working just as hard as the guys are. That's just the way I feel about it. Whether it's as exciting to you or not, it doesn't matter. They should still get the coverage. So anyway, I agreed. I wanted to come out and take some photos so the parents and if the school wants to use them, I'd allow them to use them as well. But I wanted to get those photos out there to them so they would have something, and it gives me a chance to practice with real live sports and learning how to shoot sports, because eventually I kind of would like to do it on occasion, maybe not professionally or anything like that. But I took the A7R3A out, and I also took the 70 to 180 Tamron 2.8 lens, and then I also wanted to try, since this was it was daylight, there was no low light or anything like that. I took out the 150 to 500, and of course that's a variable aperture and usually only good in daylight. So it was bright and sunny out, and I figured, why not? I'll take it. I should be able to get some really, really good close-up shots, and I got some pretty decent shots. Again, I'm not the best for sure, and I'm not that experienced, but I did the best I possibly could, and I got some pretty good shots out of it. So let's go over to Neo. Let me jump in, and we'll just jump right into Luminar Neo, and of course the catalog. That's another thing too. I'm not a big fan of the way they catalog everything. It's I don't know. It's different. I guess maybe that's just it. It's just different. And right now, just to show you what I'm on version 0.9.3, which just updated. We just got this second update a couple days ago. This update went through, and it added a couple of features, and I don't know exactly what I'd have to go through and check for you. But I just kind of wanted to show you what it's doing so far. These are all the photos that I've edited in this program in Neo. These are the ones I was just playing around with. This picture here of this monkey, I want to show you. So here's the edited. You got to give it time. It's not the fastest to load, but it will eventually, hopefully, load. I mean, I'm recording with the computer and trying to do this at the same time. So, it's an M1 Mac. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyway, so here's my edits, right? So you got the nice blue sky. You kind of have the color's pretty true. They are about that color, that kind of yellowish, and there's some white fur and stuff like that. Pretty nice and sharp. This was with the 150 to 500 as well. The other thing I don't like is you don't have lens information or anything, right? In Lightroom where it tells you your aperture and everything. I don't even know how to do that yet. I don't see it. They should just have it. Why don't they just have it? It doesn't make any sense to me. So anyway, there's the edit, right? So I want to pull up, where is my photo? I've got a separate folder. I'm going to bring this folder up. So here's the monkey. Notice the difference in the sky and the monkey. So let me move this out of the way. Look at the difference. All the edits didn't come through. You see what I'm saying? Look at the monkey. So the monkey, it's mostly just dull colors. It's kind of bland, and I'd warmed it up just a little bit on the edit. So that's where the finished editing is. And you can see up here, those are all my edits. That's the nice thing. You got all your edits here. Those are all my edits right there. But then none of them came through. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I don't but it doesn't do that with every photo. That's the weird part. So let me get back and let me see. Let me bring up Kira. Let it finish loading. Come on, Neo. You can do it. Come on, Mac. Come on, Mac. Again, I apologize. Just things take it forever. Okay, so here we have the photo of Kira that I edited. As you can see, the photos look pretty much the same. Now, the finished JPEG does seem a little bit warmer. It doesn't seem as bright. So I think maybe there's an edit that didn't go through, because I seem to remember adjusting the lighting a little bit. So, but it's still basically the same. I mean, it looks basically the same. The hair looks the same. The background is, let's see, put it like this. The background, pretty much the same. So it's pretty much the same photo, but it didn't do it with the monkey. So I don't understand why. Let's see, what else did I do? Let's bring up, let's see how it did. See how it did with her. Okay, let's check out this other picture here. Here is the edited on the right side, right? You see my mouse moving. This is the JPEG. Here is the edited RAW. This is the file in Neo. It looks the same. I mean, it's pretty much, it's identical. Colors are the same. You know, everything's the same. So it's just random. It doesn't happen all the time. It's so weird. But anyway, so and then of course down here you can see, let's see, of course, trash. If you delete pictures, it's going to go to trash, and you have to empty the trash. But then you have your separate. So these are the ones. The thing about it is, all I do is I import, when my photos are imported for Lightroom, that's usually the first place I import them to. And then I name that folder inside of Lightroom. And then, of course, it names it on the hard drive. That's the way Lightroom works. The Lightroom cataloging works. So what I do is I just import the whole folder into Luminar, my Luminar software. I've got Luminar AI is the same way. I have it set up the same way. So I just imported the whole thing. Now, these are supposed to be non-destructive, just the way Lightroom is. So the photos, like you edit your photos in Lightroom, it's not going to affect the photos here, the raw files here. The raw files are left alone, and they should be, okay. Let's go to, I don't know. Let's just pick a picture. I got some baseball shots, too. There was a baseball game going on behind us. So I just kind of turned around, walked over to the fence, and kind of, got some shots of the baseball game as well. I swore I edited this photo. Maybe I did it in Lightroom. But what I wanted to do, I want to show you the tools, what we have available to us, currently. And of course, there's no edits right now. That's where all your edits show up. But you click on tools. These are all your tools. And we have right at the very top. Now, this is set up differently than Luminar AI. AI is set up, a little bit different as far as the menus go. But we have the crop tool here is the very first one right off the bat. I really don't want to do anything with this. I mean, if I wanted to get picky, I guess I could do the whole. See, there's a bug. That's another bug. And I'm having issues with the crop. So that was the other thing I was going to mention too. It's look at that. It's just, I don't even know. There we go. There we go. It's just, we're enjoying this together. We're discovering these things together. So yeah, look at that. I mean, it's just not, this is so annoying. It really is annoying. Maybe, I don't know if it's the mouse. I don't think it is though. I don't think it's my mouse, because it doesn't do this in other programs. I don't like the way it keeps moving around. The window keeps moving around when you crop. I don't like that. That's so annoying. And I don't know. I can't get that last little piece. There we go. Okay, so, oh, good Lord, this is crazy. All right, so I'm going to make sure that it's still diagonal, and I'm going to not get, there we go. So we'll do the 2/3, and here you can also change the ratio. That's where you can change to 1:1, 5:7, blah blah blah, 21:9. which I don't think Lightroom gives you 21:9. I think they only give you 16:9, if I'm not mistaken. Facebook feed, Facebook cover, and then you can enter a custom, or you can freeform it. You know, maybe that was my problem. I didn't have it freeform. I don't know. But anyway, you can change that horizontal alignment. So if you wanted to do that, you know, do all that fancy schmancy stuff. Rotate and flip. There you got your options there. And did it even crop? Did it even? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So if you click the crop, not that, that's the crop, and then click that, and then goes back away. So that's, again, I'm just learning this a little bit here. I haven't learned. That doesn't seem straight to me. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't probably line it with that line right there. But I don't know. When I see lines, I just have to have it a little straighter than it was. So anyway, click on the develop module. You have your exposure, smart contrast, highlights, and shadows. Then each one of your blacks and white, if you've used Lightroom at all, this, it's all familiar. You've got your curves, your color, where you can do all this, sharpness and optics, noise reduction. The thing that's weird about this, just keep an eye, you have noise reduction, right? Under your develop module. But then you have denoise, which is the same thing. That's noise reduction as well. And I think that's the only place. But I want to say there's more details, and then Sharpen does the same thing. Look at develop, and then we go down to sharpen. You can sharpen it, but then down here under details, there's another sharpening. There's another sharpen right there, and then these don't show up until you add that. So I don't. There's too much. It's like there's too many. I don't know exactly what you're sharpening. I guess I need to read the manual. But most people are going to go to enhance right away. From what I've seen, that's where people go first. It's the very first thing they do in Luminar and the AI, and then also, because this is also an AI. But you just hit the accent button, and what it does, it just kind of makes the picture better. It gives you a starting point, right? So it's brightening the image up a little bit, which is what I would have done. And then if there's a sky back here, you can hit sky enhancer, and it's supposed to enhance the sky. So we're going to start there with enhance. So enhance right off the bat. Now we're going to go back to the develop module. I don't want to adjust exposure yet. Well, maybe a little bit. Because it was dark. I was shooting at 100 ISO. I wasn't doing auto ISO yet. So we'll boost that just a tad. And then contrast, I do want to add a little bit of contrast. Not that much. Luminar tends to really contrast it up. I even got the dirt particles. There's like dirt. You see the dirt particles around the ball? But anyway, highlights, I want to bring highlights down because we just do. And then shadows, we want to bring those shadows up. But if you notice, enhance already took care of a lot of that, but we're going to boost them a little bit more. I think you get more out of Lightroom as far as shadows, pulling the shadows. I think it seems like it anyway. I'm going to drop the whites down a little bit, and then I'm going to boost the blacks a little bit because that'll also help with the shadows. And I think that's okay right there. Now, if I wanted to boost shadows even more, I could take the curve, and you see that down at the shadows. I could boost that up just a little more, and then bring the highlights down a little bit more. So that's okay. That's okay right now. Saturation, I probably want to pull back the saturation a little bit because the pink, that hot pink or hot orange or whatever. Vibrance, boost it a little bit. I don't want to sharpen yet. So what we're going to do, I shouldn't have any noise. This was shot at 100 ISO, so we should be good there. You can, as far as the optics go, auto differinger, I always click that on. I don't have any lens distortion to speak of. so I don't have to worry about that. And we already did enhance. I don't need to erase anything because I want to leave the dirt particles. It just kind of adds action because there was something going on. And let's see. Yeah, there's your erase feature. You could just, if you needed to erase something, it gives you, that's your size or your brush. So you can make it as big or small, as you need to. And then you can deselect and unerase. It works pretty well. It's not the best. And then here's where you remove power lines and dust spots. That's the other thing that's really cool. That was the other new feature of Neo, is instead of going in and individually having to clone stamp or whatever, or get rid of those dust spots, it actually, you just click one time and it's supposed to get rid of all of them. And from what I've seen, I do have some old photos that have dust spots, and I'm going to try it out to see how. But everybody I've seen that's done it so far, it works phenomenally. So I'll give them that much. It works really well. Structure, don't really use it. Color, it's just more. That's another thing. You've already got color up here in the develop module. Why do you need a separate? I don't understand. This remove color cast does work really well though. I use this remove color cast. If you look at the picture, and like where the green is kind of merging onto the socks and onto the shoes, as you do that, look, see the socks change? See it change from green to white? This works really well. This remove color cast, it works phenomenal. I love that feature. Because now, look, her socks are white again. You can see underneath her socks, she's got the whatever she's wearing underneath, socks, under socks, or whatever. And then the green is gone from the ball. It's gone from the socks up here and the shoes. So now you get to see all the colors. It works really well. And you can even move it a little more, and it'll bring the greens down so the grass isn't so neon-y. It just seems like the grass, if you go out, look how green, I mean, it looks cool. Green grass is awesome. But you can pull that back, pulls the color out, and now you can add a little vibrance to all the colors. Maybe take some saturation out so it's not so glowing. So now it looks a lot better. It just looks like a lot better photo. So I get it. I guess, and then here's all your HSL. Same thing with your, hue, saturation, and luminance. You can do the same thing. I don't think I'm going to mess with any of these because I normally don't, because I always screw it up. And then you've got, if you want to convert to black and white, you can just hit the button, converts it to black and white. Very easy. And just hit the arrow to undo it. And then, of course, we talked about details. I can tell you now, I've tried using these in Luminar AI, and I always screw things up. It just makes the photo look worse. To me, you have to be really careful with these large, medium, and large, or small, medium, and large details. It's very, very, very interesting. And then sharpen, I still don't want to sharpen. I really don't think I need to sharpen it anyway. I'm not a big fan of, I don't want to over sharpening it. Denoise, again, I don't need it because it was 100 ISO. Here's where your dehaze is. I wish they would, I don't know, I kind of wish they would just, I guess it fits under landscape. And then golden hour, if you are in golden hour, or you want it to appear you're in golden hour, you would do this, and it warms up the image quite a bit. It doesn't do it that well here because all it's doing is making everything green. But Foliage Enhancer does what it says it does. It takes all the trees, leaves, grass, and just see, we can bring back that green, because I do like the green color. I just don't want too much. So now it's all nice and green. Under advanced foliage hue, so you can adjust the hue of the leaves and the trees. Very cool. Vignetting, this is where you do your vignetting. This is where you can, one way white, and then you've got the other way is dark. I can pinpoint, and then you can adjust the size. So you can get real close in there. I could get like that. Advanced settings, you can adjust the roundness. It's just like Lightroom. It's basically the same. Woo! And then feather it. where it's either sharp, nice sharp edge, or kind of a gradual effect. Inner light, it can really, you got to be really careful of that because it's really easy to overexpose your image doing this. So I wouldn't suggest doing it. Vignetting, I don't need for this particular photo. Relight is really cool. You can adjust, and you've got to get it started. Like you got to let Luminar catch up, because again, the software isn't the fastest, and so brightness near, this is the brightness nearest to the subject. So see the front lower part. So if you wanted to add like a little bit of a shadow, a little bit of drama, a little shadow right there, you could do that. That's cool. And then brightness far is everything behind, pretty much behind your subject. And I don't want too much. Add a little bit, And then depth just kind of moves your brightness near and, merges into your far. So you can kind of just cast that shadow. It almost looks like there was an overhang or something and she's underneath the overhang. But and in advanced settings, you can actually, the de-halo function is awesome, because I have several photos that I'm going to go back and redo because of that de-halo. And then you can also warm things up near, and it doesn't really work in this photo because of what the photo is. But the back, you see the near the back, the warmth far. See how it warms it up in the background, or it cools it down. So warm, cold, warm, cold. Yeah. The relight's a good, awesome function. Sky, this is where you do your sky replacement. Really cool. Atmosphere, you can add fog. Let's see. Let's add some fog. So now she's playing. It's foggy on the court, or on the field. Oh, it's super foggy. Look at that. And then lightness, you can add you can add all that stuff. So now it's foggy. They're playing soccer in the fog. Sun rays. Sun rays is kind of cool. I've actually added this to a few pictures myself. Ooh, look at that. You can I don't know if you can place center sun. Place sun center. Okay, so you can actually place it. So now you can move it around. So you can make it look like, oh, look at that. She's playing soccer and the sun rays just right on her feet. And you can adjust the amount. Overall look. Oh, you can get really kind of creative with some of this stuff. And then penetration. So, yeah, there's a lot of different things. Sun settings. You can do the sun radius, make it bigger, smaller. And then sun glow radius. It adjusts a little bit, not much. Sun glow amount doesn't really do a whole lot. Ray settings, you can set the number of sun rays all the way up to 100 and then down to 0. So it's just kind of a blur. And then randomize, it just randomizes the rays. There's no particular order. So warmth, you have sun warmth. You can make it warmer, cold, which again, because of this picture, oh, there you go. Sun rays are a little warm. Look at that. We're all artsy fartsy. Look at that. So yeah, let's just take the sun rays out. And dramatic, you can add drama to the photo, I guess. Local contrast. We've already added contrast, so we're going to take that out. Mood, you can choose a LUT. So you have all these different LUTs that you can try. 1960, Beijing, Color Punch Cold. Oh, you got the sepia. You got all these different LUTs. Chicago, let's add a little Chicago. I don't know what that means. It's ridiculous, but anyway, so just just different things you can add. Toning, which, whatever. And, I don't use any of those hardly. Here's you could kind of add a matte finish to it, but this picture just doesn't work. It doesn't work. And then fade. Well, I guess it works. There we go. So you kind of get that matte look to it, and you can add some contrast and then vividness. You want to make it really matte looking, and you can color tone everything. I don't know. I like matte finishes, but I just use presets, and because I don't really know how to do it, to be quite honest. Mystical. Ooh, you can add that blur, which you can do the same thing in Lightroom. Just take clarity out. Just reduce clarity, and you get the exact same effect. But yeah, you get that mystical. You got, I guess, shadows, smoothness. I guess it's there's a million things you can do with the software. It's really cool to be creative. It's you can Orton effect. So woo. There's just so much you can do here, y'all. It's film grain. You can add film grain. There you go. Just add all the film grain, or you can shoot at 12,800 ISO. I guess it would give you the same thing. Now here's cool. The portrait bokeh, and the skin. Now the portrait bokeh, I've used this on a couple different occasions to boost the bokeh, and it works pretty good for the most part. But as you can see, it's not giving me the opportunity. You know why? Because apparently there's no face. There's no portrait. Even though there is, I mean, what if I wanted to blur the field more? It doesn't give me the options. It's all grayed out because I guess it's not a person. The face, I guess. Even with skin, skin, it just softens the skin. You can adjust the lighting on your subject. So, that'd be another way to brighten the picture up a little bit, is you could adjust your lighting. So, if you had like a key light, dynamic high key light, just different parts, and you adjust the blacks and make the shadows a little bit darker. Actually, that might look a little bit better since I did that. I don't know why. Advanced settings, so glow. That's another way. It kind of softens it up a little bit, and then contrast. But anyway, so yeah, just another deal. Super contrast, more contrast settings. I think it just has too much. I think the software just has too much. But let's see. Highlights contrast. So you can do just the highlights, the midtones contrast. So you can adjust just the midtones, and then shadows. You can that also brightens up the shadows a little bit. And then shadows balance, I guess, kind of balances everything out. So I don't really need more. I don't need super contrast. Color harmony, again, more color shit. Pardon my language. But there's just, I don't know. I just think there's too much. It's a cool software. It really is. And I like it for the most part. But let's export this picture. So I'm going to export this picture, okay? Let's see if the edits go through. So export. I already have it pre-selected to dump into the soccer file under my Neo file. So we'll call this ball, just a simple ball, and save. It does take a minute. That's one thing you'll notice with Luminar AI and Neo is it does take a little bit to export. Takes a little longer than Lightroom. Probably going to depend on your system. It didn't take too long. It's M1. So let's go into soccer. And does that look like the same photo? Does that look like the same photo? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's not the same photo. Some of the edits did not go through. Some of them did. That's the weird part, because the image wasn't that light. The image was darker than that. The original raw file is darker. So there's some edits not making it through, or something ain't right. I don't understand why some photos it's working fine, other photos it's not. I guess it's a situation where I'm going to have to go through and figure out which edits are making it through, which edits are not making it through, because obviously you guys got to witness this live, sort of. I'm recording this, but you got to witness this. I edited the photo, dicked around with the edits, exported the picture. There's the picture. You see the ball. That's the JPEG. You saw me name it. Ball JPEG. And it is not the same. So there is a problem with Luminar Neo. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. But that is not. The greens are different. The shoes. And, I mean, it looks like the color, you know, where it got rid of the color bleed over and stuff, that went through. It's something to do with the lighting, and or it's either the lighting or one of the color selections. I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe it's a bug. I don't know. It's something I guess I need to fill out, go through the cumbersome process with Luminar and figure it out, I guess. I don't know. It's a pain in the butt. I know that. For the most part, it's a cool software. I don't think a professional is going to use it. I don't think people that are taking, you know, professional sports or professional or weddings or anything like that, except for the weddings, you might be able to add some cool, fancy stuff to it. But I just don't. I'm sorry. I like it. I like the software. I really do. And it's something I'll tinker with. But until the bugs are fixed, I don't see anyone using it as a professional type editing software. It's cool to have, I guess. And it's a, you know, one-time cost. You don't have to pay a subscription like you do with Lightroom. But you know, they gave it a hell of a shot. You know, maybe they'll fix it. And there's a lot of stuff in the previous software that's not included that's going to be in the final software. So a lot of the functionality isn't there yet. So don't think this is all you get with Neo. There is a lot more coming. They just didn't add it into the preview software because they're trying to work out the bugs with the remove power lines, remove dust spots, blah, 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 blah. That's about it for this video. Sorry it's a little bit long, and I'll try to cut out as much as I possibly can. But I just kind of wanted to show you that this is right now. It's not ready for prime time. It's coming soon, and hopefully they get everything ironed out. I wish they had a better reporting way, a better reporting method for people that have the preview software to report bugs, because as it stands right now, this bug might just skate right on through, and it might just be an M1 Mac issue. You know, maybe it's the M1 issue. I don't know. I don't have anything else to try it with. I don't have another computer currently to see if it is this computer, if it's the M1 series, or I don't know. But I'll probably go through the hassle of go ahead and sending in a report somehow, and see how it goes. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you'll not unsubscribe because of this video. Please subscribe if you want to see more in the future. I'll hopefully have better stuff coming real soon. And I do appreciate each and every one of you. Like and share this video if you would, even though it probably sucked. But anyway, I love you guys. Catch you later.